Captain Day One stood on the bridge of the ship called New Dawn. His hands shook as he watched Earth burn below them. Red fire covered the blue planet like a terrible disease. The home of all humans was dying, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. "Sir, the last transport ships are coming up from the surface," said Commander Hyojin. Her voice was calm, but Day One could see fear in her eyes. "We have maybe 10 minutes before the alien ships find us." Day One nodded. 10 minutes to save what was left of humanity. Behind them, Earth's cities exploded one by one. The aliens had been bombing for 3 days straight. Nothing would be left alive down there. "How many people did we save?" he asked. "About 2 million on all the ships together," Hyojin said. "Out of 12 billion. Day One closed his eyes. 2 million survivors from 12 billion people. The numbers felt like knives in his chest. But 2 million was better than 0. These people would carry human dreams to the stars. Young pilot Tejo ran onto the bridge. His uniform was dirty and torn. "Captain, the alien fleet is moving toward us. 5 different kinds of ships. They're really big, sir." Through the windows, they could see the enemy coming. Crystal ships that looked like giant diamonds floated next to bug-like vessels with too many legs. Energy beings that glowed like small suns moved with metal ships that had no crew inside them. Snake-like reptile ships twisted through space like living things. The hegemony had come to finish what they started. 5 alien races working together for the first time in history. All because they were afraid of humans. "They think we're too dangerous," Day One said quietly. "They think we grow too fast, learn too fast, fight too well." "Maybe they're right," Hyojin said. "But that doesn't give them the right to kill everyone." The communication system made a loud noise. An alien voice spoke in broken human language. "Humans of the escape ships, you will stop moving. You will surrender. Your species is ended. Do not make this harder." Dayron looked at his crew. Good. People who had worked with him for years. People who trusted him to keep them alive. He thought about the 2 million humans scattered across hundreds of ships, all looking to him for leadership. "Send a message to all ships," he said. "We're going to jump to deep space. Every ship goes to a different place. We meet again in 50 years at the backup point." "Sir," Tejo said, "what if some ships don't make it?" "Then the ones that do make it will remember the ones that don't," Day One said. "That's all we can do now." Hyojin was working fast at her station. "I'm turning on the secret project," she said. "The quantum beacons are hidden all over human space. They'll record everything that happens. If we ever come back, we'll know what they did to our worlds." The alien ships were getting closer. Weapons were charging up, ready to fire. On the main screen, Earth looked like a ball of fire now. The oceans were boiling. The atmosphere was full of smoke and poison. "All ships, this is Captain Day One," he said into the communication system. "Today we lost our home, but we're not dead yet. We're going to survive out there in the dark. We're going to grow strong. And someday we're going to come back." He paused, looking at Earth one last time. "Remember this day. Remember what they did to us. Remember that we were not the monsters they said we were. We were just people who wanted to live free among the stars." The first alien weapons fired. Bright energy beams cut through space toward the human ships. But the humans were already moving. "Jump!" Day One shouted. The New Dawn and hundreds of other ships disappeared into hyperspace just as the alien weapons reached them. In seconds, they were far away from Earth, scattered across the galaxy like seeds in the wind. Behind them, the aliens kept firing at empty space. Then they turned their weapons back toward Earth to finish destroying it. Day One stood in the empty bridge of the New Dawn. Around him, his crew was quiet. They were safe for now, but they were also homeless. Everything they had ever known was gone. "Where do we go now, Captain?" Tejo asked. Day One looked at the stars outside. Billions of stars with billions of planets. Somewhere out there, humans would build new homes. Somewhere out there, they would grow strong again. "We go everywhere," he said. "We spread out so they can never find us all. We learn, we adapt, we survive." Hyojin was checking her instruments. "The beacons are working. They're recording everything the aliens do to our old colonies. Every destroyed city, every burned farm, every broken monument. It's all being saved. Good, Day One said. Our children will see what was done, and when we're strong enough, we'll come back to collect what's owed to us. The ship moved through hyperspace toward an unknown destination. In the cargo holds, families hugged each other and cried. Children asked when they could go home. Parents had no answers to give them. But in the ship's computer, Heejin had hidden something special, the complete genetic code of every Earth animal and plant, the history of human art, music, and science, the location of every human colony that might still be alive. We're carrying our whole world with us, she told Daewon. Even if Earth is gone, humanity isn't gone. Not while we remember. Days passed as the ship traveled deeper into unknown space. They found a small moon around a gas giant, far from any star. It would be their first hidden base. From here, they would send messages to other survivor ships. As they landed on the cold, dark moon, Daewon made a promise to himself. This wasn't the end of humanity's story. This was just the beginning of a new chapter. The aliens thought they had won. They thought humans were finished. They were wrong. In the darkness between stars, humanity would learn new things. They would become something stronger than what they were before. And when they returned to Earth, they would not come as refugees begging for mercy. They would come as a storm. The new dawn settled onto the moon's surface, and the long exile began. Above them, alien ships patrolled the galaxy, thinking they had solved the human problem forever. But in the cold and dark, 2 million humans began to plan their revenge. 4,000 years had passed since the great burning of Earth. Admiral Sora floated in the command center of her ship, the Dark Wind. She had never seen a real planet with grass and blue skies. She was born in space, like her parents, and their parents before them. The humans had changed a lot during their long exile. They lived in the cold dark between stars now. Their bodies had adapted to life in space. Their bones were stronger, their lungs could hold air longer, and their eyes could see better in the dark. Admiral, called Lieutenant Minho from his station. We're getting signals from the scout ships. Captain Unji found something interesting. Sora pushed herself through the air to Minho's station. The ship had no artificial gravity. Humans had learned to live without it. It made them stronger and faster than the soft aliens who needed heavy planets to survive. What did she find? Sora asked. An abandoned hegemony world, Minho said. The snake people used to live there, but they left it 10 years ago. Yunji says the whole planet is empty. Sora smiled. This was good news. For 4,000 years, the aliens had controlled the galaxy, but lately they were fighting each other more. The crystal beings didn't trust the bug people. The energy creatures thought they were better than everyone else. The snake people and the machine minds argued about everything. Send a message to all the hidden fleets, Sora said. Tell them we might have our first chance to take back some territory. The human fleets were spread across the galaxy's edge, hiding in asteroid fields and empty space. They had learned to be invisible. Their ships were painted black and used special engines that didn't give off heat or light. To alien sensors, human ships looked like pieces of space rock. Minho was working on his special project at another station. He was a genetic engineer, one of the smartest humans alive. For years, he had been changing human DNA to make people even better suited for life in space. How's the enhancement program going? Sora asked him. Very well, Minho said. The new batch of volunteers is almost ready. They'll be able to survive in hard vacuum for 30 minutes without a suit. Their reaction times will be 3 times faster than normal humans, and they'll be strong enough to bend steel with their bare hands. These enhanced humans were called Void Children. They were still completely human, just improved. They could think faster, fight harder, and survive in places that would kill normal people. Some aliens who met them in battle thought they were a different species entirely. Captain Yunji's voice came through the communication system from her scout ship. Admiral Sora, you need to see what I found on this planet. It's not just empty, it's been stripped clean. The aliens took everything useful and left. What do you mean? Sora asked. They mined out all the metals, They took all the water. They even took the topsoil. It's like they used up everything and then moved on to find another planet to destroy. Sora felt angry. This was what the aliens did. They called humans dangerous, but they were the ones destroying worlds. They used up everything on a planet, and then left it to die. Any signs of what happened to the people who lived there, she asked. Mass graves, Yunji said quietly. Millions of them. I think they killed their own people when the resources ran out. There wasn't enough food for everyone, so the leaders decided who lived and who died. This was important information. It meant the hegemony was weaker than it looked. When times got hard, they turned on each other. Humans had lived through much worse and stayed together. Sora called a meeting of all her senior officers. They gathered in the ship's main room, floating in a circle. These people had been born in exile, but they remembered the stories their grandparents told about Earth and the Great Burning. We've been hiding for 4,000 years, Sora said, living like rats in the dark corners of space. But the enemy is getting weaker. They're fighting each other. They're using up their worlds and killing their own people. Maybe it's time to stop hiding. Commander Junwoo, her tactical officer, spoke up. Our ancestors were strong, but they were still just normal humans. We're different now. We're adapted for this environment. We might actually be stronger than the aliens now. It was true. Humans had developed amazing new technologies during their exile. They could link their minds together using quantum communication, making whole fleets think as one. Their ships could repair themselves using tiny machines that ate space dust and turned it into metal. Some humans had even developed mental powers that let them sense enemy thoughts. Minho, Sora said, are the Void children ready for real combat? More than ready, he said. I have 50 volunteers who have completed the full enhancement process. They're eager to fight. Sora made her decision. We're going to start small, hit some supply convoys, take back some of our old colonies, show the galaxy that humans aren't dead. Over the next several months, the Shadow Fleet began its secret war. They attacked alien supply ships traveling between star systems. They captured weapons and equipment. They studied alien technology and learned how to turn it against its makers. The best part was that the aliens didn't realize they were fighting humans. When ships disappeared or bases went dark, the different alien species blamed each other. The crystal beings thought the bug people were stealing from them. The machine minds accused the energy creatures of sabotage. Yunji became the best scout captain in the fleet. She could sneak her ship into any system and gather information without being detected. Her reports showed that the hegemony was falling, apart from the inside. They're fighting a civil war, she told Sora during one meeting. The bug people tried to take over a crystal world last month. The energy beings are refusing to share their advanced technology. The snake people are building secret weapons they won't tell the others about. Perfect, Sora said. While they fight each other, we get stronger. Minho's Void children proved to be incredible warriors. During a raid on an alien research station, one enhanced human named Dongwook fought off 20 alien soldiers by himself. He moved so fast that the aliens couldn't track him. He was so strong that he tore through their battle armor with his hands. But the most important discovery came when they reclaimed their first human colony world. It was a planet called New Hope that humans had settled 200 years before, the Great Burning. The aliens had destroyed all the cities, but they hadn't found the underground bunkers. Hidden deep in the planet's core were human archives, computers that had recorded everything about human civilization before the exile. Scientific knowledge, cultural treasures, and most importantly, weapons technology that even the enhanced humans had forgotten about. This changes everything, Hyojin's great-granddaughter, a scientist named Yu Jin, told the fleet commanders. Our ancestors were more advanced than we thought. They had developed weapons that could destroy entire star systems. They just never used them because they were trying to be peaceful. The archives also contained something else, the locations of other hidden bunkers throughout human space. If even a few of these bunkers had survived, the humans could recover technology that would make them the most powerful force in the galaxy. Sora stood in the ruins of New Hope's capital city, looking at the broken monuments and burned-out buildings. Alien ships had bombed this place 4,000 years ago, but somehow life was returning. Grass was growing through the cracks in the concrete. Trees were starting to sprout near the old parks. They tried to kill everything human, she said, to her officers. But they couldn't kill the idea of humanity. They couldn't destroy our will to survive. Minho pointed to a group of void children who were exploring the ruins. Look at them. They're not just survivors anymore. They're predators. They're everything the aliens feared we would become. It was true. The enhanced humans moved through the ruins like ghosts, their improved senses picking up details that normal people would miss. They were faster, stronger, and smarter than any alien species. And unlike the aliens, they worked together perfectly. Send messages to all the hidden fleets, Sora ordered. Tell them we're starting phase 2 of the return. We're going to take back our worlds one by one. And then we're going to show the aliens what happens when you try to destroy humanity. As the Shadow Fleet prepared to leave New Hope, they planted something in the ruins, self-building factories that would use the planet's resources to create weapons and ships. When they returned, this world would be a fortress. The long exile was ending. The children of the void were ready to reclaim their birthright, and somewhere in the dark between stars, 2 million refugees had become an army of 20 million enhanced humans, all carrying the memory of Earth's burning in their hearts. The aliens had created their own worst nightmare. They had tried to destroy humanity's body, but they had only made humanity's spirit stronger. Now that spirit was coming home, and it was hungry for justice. Commander Jae-sung moved through the alien base like a shadow. His enhanced body made no sound as he crawled through the air vents. Behind him, 9 other void children followed in perfect silence. They had trained for this mission for months. The base belonged to the bug people, the Quillex. It was built inside a large asteroid hidden from most sensors. But human technology could find anything now. The quantum scanners had located this base 3 weeks ago. Target is in sight, Jae-sung whispered into his throat microphone. 5 guards around the main computer core, standard bug armor and weapons. In the command ship floating 3 light hours away, Intelligence Officer Narration listened to every word. She had planned this mission carefully. This base contained records of what the aliens had done to human colonies after the Great Burning. Everyone needed to know the truth. Remember, Narration said quietly, we need those computers intact. The information inside will show the galaxy what really happened to our people. Jae-sung and his team dropped from the ceiling like spiders. The Quillex guards never saw them coming. In 30 seconds, all 5 aliens were unconscious, their weapons scattered across the floor. The void children moved so fast that the security cameras only caught blurs. Base secure, Jae-sung reported, beginning data extraction. Engineer Dong-wook plugged his portable computer into the alien system. Human technology was much more advanced now. The quantum processors could break any alien encryption in minutes. Within an hour, they had copied the entire base's memory banks. What they found made Dong-wook sick to his stomach. Narration, he said over the communication link, you need to see this. It's worse than we thought. The files showed what happened after humans were driven from their colonies. The aliens didn't just destroy the cities and move on. They had captured thousands of humans who couldn't escape. Scientists, engineers, artists, children, all taken as prisoners. The files contained videos, aliens studying human bodies like they were insects, experiments to see how much pain humans could survive, tests to understand how human brains worked, attempts to breed humans like farm animals. They kept them in cages, Dong-wook said, his voice shaking with anger. Families separated, children taken from their parents, all so they could learn our weaknesses. Narration felt cold fury rising in her chest. Copy everything. Every file, every video, every record. The whole galaxy needs to see this. But the worst discovery was yet to come. In the deepest files, they found proof that the experiments were still happening. On a secret world called Terminus, the aliens were still holding human prisoners. People who had been in cages for 4,000 years, along with their children and grandchildren. We have to rescue them, Jae-sung said. We will, Narration promised. But first we're going to make sure everyone knows what these monsters have been doing. The mission was a complete success. Jae-sung's team escaped without being detected. The bug people never knew their base had been invaded, but within days, the stolen information was spreading across the galaxy. Human agents had learned to hack into alien communication networks. They broadcast the prison camp videos on every major news channel. They sent the files to alien journalists and politicians. They made sure no one could ignore the truth. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Many alien civilians were horrified. They had been told that humans were destroyed in a quick, clean war. They never knew about the prison camps and experiments. Protest movements started on dozens of worlds, demanding that their governments stop the human prison programs. But the hegemony leaders only got angry. They increased security around their remaining bases. They started hunting for the mysterious attackers who had stolen their secrets. "Good," said Admiral Sora when she heard about the alien response. "Let them waste resources looking for ghosts. Every ship they send to guard empty space is one less ship defending their important targets." The Shadow Fleet had grown much larger over the past 2 years. Hidden shipyards throughout the galaxy's edge were building new vessels using self-replicating technology. Each human ship could create copies of itself using raw materials from asteroids and dead planets. More importantly, humans were reclaiming their old colonies. Advanced terraforming technology let them rebuild worlds that had been destroyed 4,000 years ago. Automated defense systems protected these new settlements from alien attack. Narration stood in the command center of the intelligence ship, Whisper. Around her, dozens of analysts studied reports from across the galaxy. Human spy networks had infiltrated every major alien government. "The enemy alliance is breaking down faster than we expected," she told Sora during their weekly briefing. "The Crystal people are accusing the Bug people of hiding the prison camps from them. The energy beings say they never approved of the experiments. Everyone is blaming everyone else." "What about the machine minds?" Sora asked. "That's the interesting part," Narration said. "The Nexus Collective is starting to question whether destroying humanity was the right decision. Some of their computers are calculating that humans actually pose less threat to galactic stability than the current civil wars between hegemony species." This was exactly what human strategists had hoped for. The alien alliance was based on fear of humanity. If that fear went away, the different species would go back to fighting each other instead of working together. Dongwook had been busy rebuilding human infrastructure on the reclaimed worlds. His engineering teams were creating something the galaxy had never seen before: planets that were themselves weapons. "Each reclaimed world has a quantum resonance core," he explained to the fleet commanders. "If we're attacked, we can use the planet itself as a massive energy weapon. The whole surface becomes a gun that can fire at targets in orbit." The technology was based on discoveries from the ancient human archives. Before the Great Burning, human scientists had developed incredible weapons but chose not to use them. Now their descendants had no such hesitation. Human strike teams were hitting alien targets across the galaxy. Supply convoys disappeared without a trace. Research stations went offline suddenly. Military bases lost contact with their command ships. The aliens still didn't realize they were fighting humans. Each species thought the others were betraying them. Trust between the hegemony members broke down completely. "We're fighting a ghost war," Jae-sung told his special forces teams. "We hit them and vanish before they know what happened. We turn their own paranoia against them." The Void Children had become the perfect soldiers for this new kind of warfare. Their enhanced bodies could survive in any environment. Their improved brains could process tactical information faster than any alien. Their quantum-linked minds let them coordinate attacks across multiple star systems simultaneously. But the most powerful human weapon was something the aliens had given them: 4,000 years of righteous anger. Every human alive remembered the stories of Earth's burning. Every family had ancestors who died in the Great Evacuation or suffered in alien prison camps. This wasn't just a war for territory. It was a war for justice. Naration's intelligence network discovered something that changed everything. The location of Terminus, the secret world where humans were still being held prisoner. Long-range reconnaissance showed that nearly 50,000 humans were trapped there, some of them fourth-generation prisoners who had never seen the outside of their cages. "We're going to free them," Sora announced to the assembled fleet commanders. But we're going to do it in a way that sends a message to the entire galaxy. The rescue mission would be the first time humans revealed themselves openly since the Great Burning. No more ghost attacks or mysterious disappearances. The aliens would see exactly what humanity had become during its long exile. Jae-sung's forces spent weeks preparing for the assault on Terminus. They studied every detail of the prison planet's defenses. They identified every guard tower, every security system, every possible escape route. The plan was simple but devastating. A massive human fleet would appear in the Terminus system without warning. While the alien defenders were distracted by the space battle, enhanced human soldiers would teleport directly onto the planet's surface, using quantum transportation technology. Remember, Sora told her captains, we're not just rescuing prisoners, we're announcing to the galaxy that humanity is back. Make sure they never forget what they see. As the human fleet prepared to jump to Terminus, Dong-wook made final adjustments. To their new weapons, these weren't just guns and missiles. They were tools that could rewrite the laws of physics in small areas, making alien shields useless and their armor worthless. Today we stop hiding, Narai said as she watched the stars through the command ship's windows. Today we show them what happens when you try to cage humanity. The Long Shadow War was about to become something much more dangerous. The children of the void were ready to step into the light, and the galaxy would never be the same. Grand Admiral Seung-ho stood on the bridge of the massive battleship called Retribution. Around him, the largest human fleet ever assembled waited in the darkness between stars. 2,000 ships, each one built with technology that the aliens couldn't even imagine. All ships report ready, said his communications officer. The other fleets are in position around the hegemony homeworlds. Today was the day humanity stopped hiding. After 6,000 years of secret preparation, they were finally going to show the galaxy what they had become. 5 simultaneous attacks on the 5 alien homeworlds. The enemy would learn that humans were not only alive, but stronger than ever. Send the message, Seung-ho ordered. Across the galaxy, every communication device received the same broadcast. The image of diplomat Yu-jin appeared on billions of screens. She was clearly human, but different from the humans the aliens remembered. Taller, stronger, with eyes that seemed to glow with inner light. People of the galaxy, Yu-jin said, her voice calm but filled with power. You were told that humanity was destroyed 6,000 years ago. You were told that we were too dangerous to be allowed to live. You were lied to. The broadcast showed images from the alien prison camps. Humans in cages, children separated from their parents, scientists experimenting on people like they were animals. The galaxy watched in horror as the truth was revealed. We survived, Yu-jin continued. We adapted. We evolved. You sought to exterminate us for being too dangerous. You have created something infinitely worse. We are the children of the void, forged in the darkness between stars. We remember every world you burned, every life you took. We have returned for justice. As the message played, human fleets appeared around all 5 hegemony homeworlds simultaneously. The aliens' best sensors couldn't detect the ships until they wanted to be seen. Then suddenly the sky was full of dark vessels that seemed to bend light around them. At Terminus, the prison planet, Seung-ho's fleet dropped out of hyperspace like an avenging storm. The alien defenders had never seen ships like these. Human vessels that could phase in and out of normal space, making them impossible to target. Weapons that fired beams of pure energy that could cut through any known armor. Launch the rescue pods, Seung-ho ordered. Hundreds of small ships shot toward the planet's surface. Inside each pod was a team of void children led by enhanced super soldier, Kyung-soo. These warriors had been specifically designed for this mission. They could survive in any environment, fight in zero gravity or crushing atmosphere, and their enhanced minds were linked together in a tactical network. Kyung-soo's pod crashed through the prison complex's shields like they weren't there. Human technology had learned to disrupt the quantum fields that powered alien defenses. As his team emerged from the wreckage, the prison guards opened fire with their most powerful weapons. The energy beams bounced off the humans' personal shields, without causing any damage. Impossible, one of the bug guards chittered. Nothing can resist our plasma cannons. Kyung-soo moved faster than the aliens could follow. His enhanced reflexes let him dodge their shots while his return fire cut through their armor like paper. Behind him, his team spread out to locate the human prisoners. Building 7 has the oldest captives, reported team member Ji-Wan through their mental link. Some of them have been here for over 3,000 years. Building 12 has the children, added another soldier named He-Young. They're scared but alive. The rescue operation was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human soldiers appeared and disappeared like ghosts, phasing through walls using quantum technology. They could teleport directly from building to building, gathering prisoners faster than the guards could react. In space above the planet, the battle was equally one-sided. Alien warships fired everything they had at the human fleet, but their weapons passed through the enemy ships like they weren't there. The humans were using dimensional phase technology, existing partially outside normal space. "Target the command ship," ordered the Quillix fleet admiral. "Concentrate all fire on their flagship." 1,000 alien weapons fired at Sung Ho's ship. The energy beams and missiles should have vaporized any vessel. Instead, they passed through empty space. The human ship had shifted into a parallel dimension for exactly 3 seconds, letting the attack pass harmlessly through. Then the humans fired back. The weapons that emerged from human ships were beyond alien understanding. Reality anchors that prevented enemy ships from using their exotic physics. Gravity wells that crushed entire squadrons. Energy beams that ignored shields and armor entirely, striking directly at the quantum structure of matter itself. "This is impossible," the alien admiral said as his fleet was destroyed around him. "These weapons violate the basic laws of physics." "No," came a human voice over the communication channel. "We just learned laws that you never discovered. On the planet's surface, Kyung-Soo and his teams had liberated all 50,000 human prisoners. Many of them were too weak to walk after generations in captivity. Others had been driven half-mad by the experiments performed on them. But they were alive, and they were free. "Transport pods are ready," Ji-Wan reported. "We can evacuate everyone within the hour." But Kyung-Soo had other plans. "He-Young, plant the resonance charges around the prison complex. When we leave, I want this place to be a crater." The enhanced explosives would do more than just destroy the buildings. They would make the entire area uninhabitable for 1,000 years, a permanent monument to alien cruelty. No one would ever build another prison camp on this spot. As the last prisoners were evacuated, Kyung-Soo stood in the empty command center of the alien complex. Around him, the bodies of guards who had chosen to fight rather than surrender. They had died quickly, more mercy than they had shown their human captives. "Justice," he said quietly, and activated the charges. The explosion could be seen from orbit. The entire prison complex vanished in a column of fire that reached into the sky. When the flames died down, nothing remained but a glass crater surrounded by twisted metal. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out at the other hegemony homeworlds. Human fleets appeared without warning, striking with weapons that the aliens had no defense against. Ancient orbital platforms that had once belonged to humans, corrupted and used against their creators, were destroyed or reclaimed. The alien governments tried to coordinate a response, but their communication networks had been infiltrated years ago. Human hackers fed them false information, sent their fleets to the wrong locations, and generally made sure that no effective defense could be organized. On the crystal world of the Vorthak, human ground forces moved through the cities like unstoppable forces of nature. The crystal beings tried to use their natural psychic abilities to confuse the invaders, but human minds had been shielded by quantum technology. Their mental attacks had no effect. "Surrender," demanded the human commander as crystal warriors fell around him. "Your weapons are useless against us. Your defenses mean nothing. Submit now and you will be treated according to the laws of war." Some aliens chose to surrender. Others fought to the death. The humans gave them the choice, which was more mercy than humanity had received 6,000 years ago. The war lasted exactly 72 hours. In 3 days, the mighty hegemony that had ruled the galaxy for millennia was broken. Their fleets were destroyed, their homeworlds occupied, their governments collapsed. But the most devastating blow wasn't military. It was psychological. The aliens had built their entire society on the belief that they were superior to humans. They had told themselves that destroying humanity was necessary for galactic peace. Now they discovered that not only had they failed to destroy humanity, they had created something far more dangerous than anything that had existed before. "We are not conquerors," Yujin announced in her final broadcast to the galaxy. "We are the children of those you tried to murder. We have returned not to rule you, but to ensure that what happened to us never happens to anyone else." The message was accompanied by offers of peace to any alien species that would renounce the hegemony and accept human oversight of galactic affairs. Many species, terrified by what they had witnessed, immediately agreed. Seung-ho stood on the bridge of his ship as it orbited the liberated terminus. Below, human medical teams were treating the rescued prisoners, many of whom were seeing the sky for the first time in their lives. "What happens now?" asked his tactical officer. "Now we rebuild," Seung-ho said. "We create a galaxy where no species has to fear being destroyed just for being different, and we prepare for the final journey." The final journey? Seung-ho turned to look at the stars, but his eyes were focused on one particular direction, toward the center of the galaxy, where a small yellow star waited with its family of planets. One of those planets was a burned, dead rock that had once been called Earth. "We're going home," he said. Fleet Commander Ji-hoon stood before the massive windows of his flagship, looking at the sight that no human had seen for 10,000 years. The Sol system stretched out before them, with its familiar planets arranged around the yellow star that had given birth to humanity. But it was different now. Mars was covered in alien structures. Jupiter's moons had been turned into mining stations. And Earth was a brown ball of dead rock, its oceans gone, its atmosphere thin and poisonous. "Sir," said his navigation officer, "we're receiving a signal from the alien defense platforms. They're ordering us to leave the system immediately." Ji-hoon almost smiled. "Tell them that humanity has come home. If they want to leave, now would be a good time." The largest human fleet in history had gathered for this moment. 10,000 ships carrying 50 million enhanced humans, all descendants of the 2 million refugees who had fled Earth so long ago. They had traveled across the galaxy, fought wars, built new worlds, and evolved into something greater than their ancestors ever dreamed possible. But they had never forgotten where they came from. Dr. Su Young worked frantically in her laboratory, aboard the science vessel Hope. As the fleet's chief terraforming specialist, she had studied every detail of what Earth had been like before the Great Burning. Her mission was to determine if their dead homeworld could ever live again. "The soil samples are more promising than expected," she told Ji-hoon during their briefing. "The alien bombardment sterilized the surface, but it didn't destroy the basic mineral structure. With our quantum restoration technology, we might be able to rebuild the entire ecosystem." "How long would it take?" Ji-hoon asked. "Centuries," Su Young admitted. "Maybe 1,000 years. But it can be done. Earth can live again." Philosopher warrior Wu Jin stood in the observation deck, watching their destination grow larger. Unlike the other enhanced humans, he spent most of his time thinking about the moral questions raised by their return. Were they liberators coming to free their homeworld? Or were they conquerors, no different from the aliens who had driven them out? The humans had become incredibly powerful during their exile. They could destroy entire star systems if they chose to. Did that make them the very monsters the aliens had feared? "Commander," came a voice over the communication system, "the alien defense fleet is moving to intercept us. 300 ships, all armed with weapons built from our own ancient technology." Ji-hoon felt a cold anger in his chest. The aliens hadn't just stolen their world. They had taken human technology and turned it against them. The orbital defense platforms that now protected Earth had been built by human hands 10,000 years ago, then corrupted by alien engineers. "All ships prepare for battle," he ordered. "But remember, those defense platforms were built by our ancestors. Treat them with respect even as we destroy them." The battle for Earth began at the edge of the solar system. Alien ships using corrupted, Human technology faced off against true human vessels that had evolved far beyond anything their creators had imagined. It wasn't even close to a fair fight. The alien ships fired weapons that would have been impressive 10,000 years ago. But humanity had learned so much during their exile. Their ships phased through dimensions, their weapons rewrote the laws of physics, and their defenses made them nearly indestructible. "Target the command ship," ordered the alien fleet admiral, a Saurok reptile whose scales were covered in ritual scars. "Show these human ghosts that we are still the masters of this system." The concentrated fire of 50 alien warships struck Ji-hoon's flagship. For a moment, the ship was hidden in a cloud of explosive energy. Then the smoke cleared, revealing the human vessel completely undamaged. "Our turn," Ji-hoon said quietly. The return fire from the human fleet was precise and overwhelming. Alien ships simply vanished, disintegrated by weapons that attacked their targets on a quantum level. Within an hour, the entire enemy fleet was destroyed. But Ji-hoon took no pleasure in the victory. These aliens had been living in the Sol system for millennia. Some of them had been born here. In a strange way, this was their home too, even though they had stolen it. "Open a channel to all remaining alien forces in the system," he ordered. His image appeared on communication screens throughout the solar system. On Mars, in the asteroid belt, on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, aliens who had made this place their home watched as humanity announced its return. "I am Fleet Commander Ji-hoon of the Terran Return Fleet," he said. 10,000 years ago, your ancestors drove my people from this system. Today we have come back. You have one choice: leave peacefully or be removed by force." The response was immediate and varied. Some alien colonies immediately began evacuating, their ships fleeing toward the outer galaxy. Others chose to fight, believing that their superior numbers would overcome the human technological advantage. They were wrong. The battle for Mars lasted 6 hours. Human dropships landed on the red planet's surface, while Void Children soldiers moved through the alien cities like unstoppable forces. The enhanced humans were perfectly adapted for the low gravity and thin atmosphere. The aliens, who had lived soft lives in climate-controlled domes, couldn't match their speed or strength. Wu Jin led one of the assault teams through the central city. As they moved past alien homes and schools, he felt the weight of what they were doing. These weren't soldiers or politicians. They were families who had lived here for hundreds of generations. "Commander," he said to Ji-hoon over the communication link, "are we sure this is justice? Some of these aliens have never seen any other world. Mars is their home now." "I know," Ji-hoon replied, "but Earth was our home first, and they chose to stay and fight instead of leaving peacefully." The moral complexity of the situation troubled many humans. They were the victims returning to reclaim what was stolen from them, but they were also incredibly powerful beings displacing weaker peoples who had lived here for millennia. The fighting ended when the last alien resistance collapsed on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The enhanced humans had proven unstoppable in every environment. They could survive in hard vacuum, fight underwater, and adapt to any gravity or atmosphere. With the system secured, Su Young's teams began their most important work: the restoration of Earth itself. "The first step is atmospheric reconstruction," she explained to the assembled scientists. "We need to rebuild the oxygen levels and create a proper greenhouse effect. Our molecular assemblers can break down the toxic compounds and replace them with breathable air." The work would take centuries, but humans were patient now. They had waited 10,000 years to come home. They could wait a few more centuries to make it truly livable. Wu Jin stood on Earth's surface for the first time in his life, looking at the barren landscape where forests and cities had once stood. The ground was cracked and lifeless, the sky a sickly brown color. But already Su Young's machines were working to heal the damage. "Was it worth it?" he asked Ji-hoon, who stood beside him. 10,000 years of exile, becoming something our ancestors might not recognize just to stand on this dead rock? Ji-hoon picked up a handful of sterile dirt and let it run through his fingers. "Ask me again in 1,000 years, when this soil grows flowers and children play in green fields." Above them, Human engineering teams were dismantling the alien structures that had been built on Earth's surface. Some of the technology would be preserved for study. The rest would be recycled into materials for the restoration project. The surviving aliens had been given a choice. They could accept integration into the new human-led galactic government, living as protected citizens with full rights. Or they could leave for distant galaxies where they could build new civilizations without human interference. Most chose to leave. The hegemony species had too much pride to accept human rule, even benevolent rule. Great Exodus ships carried millions of aliens toward the distant galaxy of Andromeda, where they could start over. Let them go, Su Young said as she watched the last alien transport ships leave the solar system. Maybe in 1,000,000 years, their descendants will learn to be better than their ancestors were. The first tree was planted in Earth's soil exactly 1 year after the liberation. It was a small oak sapling grown from genetic material preserved in the ancient archives. Su Young and Ji Hoon took turns with the ceremonial shovel while enhanced humans and rescued prisoners from the alien camps watched. This tree will live for 1,000 years, Su Young said. Its descendants will see Earth green again. As the years passed, more human fleets arrived from across the galaxy. The children of the void came home to help rebuild their ancestral world. Cities rose from the ruins, powered by clean fusion reactors and surrounded by growing forests. The enhanced humans had become something new, adapted for life among the stars, but they still remembered their roots. They still carried the genetic memory of blue skies and green grass, of oceans full of life and winds that smelled of flowers. Wu Jin wrote the final entry in his journal as he watched the sun set over the growing forests of New Earth. We left as refugees driven from our home by fear and hatred. We returned as something greater, carrying justice in our hearts. The circle is complete, but the story is just beginning.